Hello everyone, how's it going, and welcome to today's Wild Rift guide. In today's guide, we're going to be taking a look at the boy who shattered time, Ekko. Ekko is an AP assassin. It can be played in the mid lane or even in the jungle. Ekko is one of the best all-round champions there is. He is a very mobile and safe assassin that does a massive amount of damage when he combos all of his abilities. Taking a quick look through the build with Ekko, you want to make sure you build items that give Ekko a lot of ability power so that his combos and his abilities can do a lot of damage and scale well into the mid and late game so you can one-shot the enemy carries. For the first item, we have Rabadon's Death Count. We're starting off strong here. Ability power, 120 ability power as well, which is a lot, and also increase your overall ability power by 40%, and this will scale with the other ability power items that you will build later on. And speaking of other items, Lichbane is a great core item for Ekko because of the Spellblade passive. Using ability causes the next attack used within 10 seconds to deal bonus magic damage. Now, this works really well with Ezreal's third ability, Phase Dive. When you use the first part of the ability, the second part allows you to basically teleport to either like a minion or even a champion, and this will proc the Spellblade passive. So really, really strong. Also gives you ability power, ability haste, also a little bit of move speed to help you out. Infinity Orb as well, a little bit of maximum health so you can be a little bit more tanky because Ekko loves to dive in onto the backline. But your abilities and empowered attacks critically strike for 20% bonus damage against enemies below 35% health. You already do a lot of damage with Ekko, and this will help you one-shot enemy carries because you'll be able to crit strike when they're below 35% health. So this will help you with your combo that you will be using. Void Staff as well gives you a lot of ability power, extra little bit of magic penetration because the enemies might be building some magic resist at this point of the game. So getting Void Staff for the magic penetration, 45% as well, is really important. And then for last item, it can be flexible, but I think Morellonomicon is the best option. You apply grievous wounds to enemy champions, which reduces the effectiveness of healing and regeneration effects. So if they try and heal, if they try and sustain back up from Ekko's burst damage, it won't be that much because you have Morellonomicon in your build to make sure they're not going to heal as much. And then you got maximum health and also ability power and even more magic penetration. For the boots, Lucidity boots are by far the best for Ekko as well. You get the ability haste and the movement speed. And then for the boots upgrade, you can decide whether you want to go for stasis or protobelt. Both of these upgrades are very, very useful. They both have cool little combos as well, which I'll explain a little bit on in the video, but either one of them two will be really, really good. For the runes, you have two different runes you can go for depending on the playstyle that you want to play for. Fleet Footwork is a lot more of a slower, more safer playstyle with Ekko. You heal a lot from the minions, you heal a lot from jungle camps, and you also heal a lot if you attack enemy champions, and it helps you get a little bit extra movement speed and also do a little bit more damage. However, you can go for Electrocute as well. Electrocute is really easy to proc on Ekko because you use your third ability to dash forward, then you use your first ability in auto attack, and you can easily proc Electrocute. But I think Fleet Footwork is better, especially because it helps you a lot during the laning phase, because it makes sure that you can heal up and you can stay in lane for the laning phase for that little bit longer. Giant Slayer is a really strong rune at the moment. You deal bonus damage based on the enemy's champion's bonus health. However, if you are not against a lot of maybe champions that are going to be building bonus health, then the other best option is Gathering Storm, gaining the adaptive ability power over time. So this helps Ekko scale even more and get even more ability power as you get into the mid and the late game. For the next rune, we have Second Wind. Because Ekko is a melee champion, he gets the full benefit from Second Wind, or the doubled effect, I should say, because the effect of Second Wind does get doubled for melee champions. Again, it's a kind of a combination with Fleet Footwork, allowing you to heal up more, so you can stay in the lane phase longer, and you can keep farming up to try and get the items that you need, because most of the time you'll be against ranged champions in the mid lane, and it might be a little bit of a struggle. But again, you can switch this to other runes if you want to. Nullifying Orb is still really strong. Bone Plating is pretty good as well because you like to dive into backline, or even Hunter Titan as well. And then for the third and final rune, or fourth and final rune, I should say, we have Sweet Tooth. Again, more to do with, you know, fleet footwork and second wind, getting more healing so you can stay in the laning phase longer. That's kind of weakness of Ekko, is his laning phase. He's not going to be as strong during laning phase, but if you can survive during laning phase, if you can farm up as much as possible, get 2 or 3 items, then your late game damage is enough anyway. You don't really need anything else to help you with your late game damage. And then for summoner spells, we have flash, because Ekko could do some really cool combos with his flash and diving in. And then you have ignite, going for that little bit of extra burst damage when you're diving in to try and kill the enemy carries. There is a jungle build as well. If you want to have a look at jungle build, here it is. You can go for items like Rod of Ages to make you a little bit tankier, so you can be a little bit more healthier in the jungle. But again, most of the build is pretty much the exact same. You don't want to go for Sweet Tooth though, so Hunter Genius is probably the best option here. But that's everything for the build. Let's head on to the abilities. First up, let's take a look at Ekko's passive, which is Z Drive Resonance. Every third attack or ability against the same target deals additional magic damage. And if the target was a champion, then Ekko also gains movement speed for just over 2 seconds. It deals 120% damage to monsters as well, which is why Ekko Jungle is a thing, and it cannot affect the same target for 5 seconds. So pretty easy to understand. When you attack the same target, you can see that there's a stack underneath. So 1 stack, 2 stacks underneath the target, and then 3 stacks. As you can see, Ekko gains a little bit of movement speed. You can see that there's a little timer underneath as well. This is the cooldown per champion. You can stack on multiple champions as well, or multiple targets at the same time. So my first ability, for example, like, you know, and then I can auto attack this champion, then do that. And as you can see, every single damaging active ability I can use on every single champion I want to. So there's nothing in terms of, you know, you have to only attack the same champion. You can attack multiple and stack multiple times onto multiple champions. For the first ability, we have a Time Winder. Ekko throws a temporal device dealing magic damage. On hitting a champion or the distance limit, it expands into a field that slows by 60%, and device then returns to Ekko, dealing more damage. And again, this does 130 damage to monsters, 130% I should say. So with the first ability, you can see the distance of the limit there, where the arrows are. Where the circle is underneath, that's the limit it's going to reach. So as you can see, when it reaches the limit, you can see that it expands out, it slows down, but it also does more damage. So if I go all the way here, all the way up to the target dummy, even if it stops here, once it reaches the target dummy, you can see it slows down. Applies 2 stacks of the passive, which means you can just easily auto attack afterwards. You can also combo your first ability with flash to increase the distance of the first ability. This is really useful if the enemies are just out of range of your first ability. So here, as you can see, it's out of range of my first ability. But if I just flash straight afterwards, you can see that extends the range of the first ability, and then I can just auto attack straight afterwards. This is really cool for combos as well, because then you get in range of your third ability. So if I use Q flash, then I can E afterwards. I get an easy proc on my passive, so I can deal the extra damage and get the extra movement speed. For the second ability, we have Parallel Convergence. It has both a passive and an active. The passive is attacks against low health targets. So this is champions, minions, or even monsters. Deal additional missing health damage. So it's really good to clear out jungle camps. It's also really good to clear minions in the mid lane, or even to try and kill low health champions. The active as well launches a chronosphere that lasts 1.5 seconds, slowing it by up to 40%. And if Ekko enters the sphere, it detonates, stunning for just over 2 seconds and granting Ekko a shield that absorbs damage. Now, the most important thing to note about the second ability is that it has a timer, and that timer is really crucial, because when you jump into your second ability, it's not going to activate straight away. So if I use a second ability on top of myself, you'll see the time duration itself. When I use it, as you can see, I'm not stunning anyone, and then boom, there you go. That's when the shield comes, and that's where the stun comes. You can see there's a little bit of a timer underneath where it goes around the circle, and then boom, that's when you can jump in when you hear that sound. So the timing is actually really, really important to make sure that you jump in at the right time, so you can stun everyone and get that huge, massive shield. Now, this is really good for flanking and really good for trying to get picks, because you can use it all the way over here if you want to, and then you can quickly use E flash forward and then get the perfect stun off and try and use your combos. So that means that the enemies have very little time to react. Now, this can also be used with other cool combos as well. So you can use your second ability and then Zhonya's as well. And even if you're in your Zhonya's, you're still going to get this shield and you're still going to stun everyone, which is really, 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 really cool. And also, your second ability also gives you vision. So getting the vision around. If I use Fog of War here, you can see that I can't see the target dummies. If I use my second ability, then you can see they actually give me vision of everything. This is really good. Also objectives, checking objectives. So if you don't want to face check, because you are a squishy champion, then you can just use your second ability for vision to try and make sure that they're not doing them important objectives. For the third ability, we have Phase Dive, which Ekko dashes in a direction, and Ekko's next attack within 3 seconds gains extra range and causes Ekko to blink to its target to deal additional magic damage. This ability is really cool. It's what makes Ekko really mobile. You can also use this on plants if you want to, so it's really cool for escaping. You can dash over walls. You can then use the second part of the ability on plants if you really want to. This means that you can gap close or even just go towards or escape from enemy champions. As you can see, the second part of the ability gets a proc on your passive and also blinks. And last but by no means the least, we have Chrono Break, which is Ekko's ultimate. Ekko becomes untargetable and returns to his position 3.5 seconds ago and heals for a little bit as well, increased by 3% per 1% of health lost within 3.5 seconds. And upon arrival, Ekko, as you can see, deals a bunch of magic damage. Now, the way that you know where your ultimate is going to be or where it's going to land is your shadow. You have a little shadow that follows you around. So every single time I walk around, you can see that the shadow is there. So when I use my ultimate, it's going to always go back to that shadow. Now, I don't have the ability on cooldown. That's why it's not disappearing at all. But if I have the ability on cooldown, you can see I can walk over here and I can ultimate backwards. As you can see, it goes back to that same target. Now, it's really important to make sure that you keep an eye on your shadow all the time, because there's some cool ways where you can, like, you know, if you're here, for example, in between loads of allies, you can then use your second ability, dash away, then you use your ultimate on everyone and then stun everyone at the same time. So make sure you keep your eye on the shadow, because you could do a lot of burst damage and you can heal up as well. And one last thing with your ultimate is you can even go back to base, and if you're quick enough at buying items, you can then use your ultimate to go straight back where you were. So this makes it really easy for Ekko to just go back to base, quickly buy items, and then ultimate back into lane. I mean, the ultimate cooldown is really low, only 32 seconds when you reach it at maximum rank. So it's really easy. Just go back to base, buy some items, use your ultimate, and get straight back into the fight. Now, there's a lot of really cool combos that you can do with Ekko. You have simple combos like using your third ability, first ability to get an easy proc on the passive. This is mainly used during the lane phase. I always do this a lot during the lane phase. I use my third ability, I dash, and then use my first ability to make sure I get the slow so I can proc the passive and get the little bit of extra movement speed so I can kite around and go backwards. But the best all-in combo is using all of your abilities together. So you use your third ability, and then the timing is all the important thing. Use your third ability to dash in, first ability auto attack, and there you go. You'll be able to get your full combo. You'll be able to get the stun from the second ability and also the shield. And you can even combo this with your ulti to escape as well. So if I'm all the way back here, if I want to engage, I use my second ability, I walk up, use my third ability the right time, dash forward, use all my abilities, and then ultimate away, because you do a lot of damage with Ekko. So if you use this on like a squishy target, as you saw at the beginning of the clip, you can one-shot someone, ultimate away, and you're back at full HP. So really cool ways to use Ekko's combos. Now let's take a quick look at this skill order with Ekko. At level 1, you want to go for your first ability. This will help you a lot when clearing the wave and trying to push out the wave early on. And also you can try and poke down enemy champions. Most of the time you won't be able to, but this allows you to push the lane to try and quickly get level 2. Now level 2 is when you can kind of try and look for an all-in or trying to get a little bit of poke damage, because you're going to have your third ability. So you can do your little basic combo, but use your third ability, use your first ability to quickly proc your passive on the enemy champion, and then you can quickly use that movement speed to go back to safety. And then at level 3, you want your second ability. You can use this to try and get some little picks in the jungle if you want to, or try and roam around the map. Then you want to make sure that you max your first ability. Your first ability is one of your main sources of damage outputs. It also applies to slow as well, and it's really important. Also make sure you level up your ultimate when available. And then you want to max your third ability. Again, this is your second most damage output, and then you want to go for your second ability. Your second ability doesn't really give you too much because it doesn't really deal any damage, and you can leave the second ability at level 1 because you can still use it quite a lot. Make sure you max your first ability, and then your third ability will make sure that Ekko deals the most amount of damage possible. But that's everything for the Ekko guide. Let's head on to the gameplay. All right, on to the gameplay we go with Ekko. I quite like Ekko. Ekko is a very, very fun champion. I mean, I've explained everything, all the abilities, the builds and everything. I pretty much run the exact same in this gameplay as well. The build setup, the runes as well. You can see fleet footwork down the bottom. I do think fleet footwork is better than electrocute. Just because, you know, in situations like this, when I'm against I believe it's a Seraphine mid lane, I'm against this game, it's going to be a little bit difficult. I'm going to get poked out by the Seraphine, which means I need that little bit of extra healing, whether it be from second wind, whether it be from fleet footwork, or whether it be from, obviously, sweet tooth. So you can see in the early game, what you have to do with Ekko, you just have to sit back, you have to play passive, and you have to just basically farm up as much as possible. You can see I can get fleet footwork to get a little bit of healing from minions. You won't get the full effect. So your main purpose is to try and use your first ability to push out the wave as much as possible, and then once you hit level 2, you can try and use this window of getting level 2 to try and use your dash forward, get proc off on your passive like this. Boom, E forward, use your first ability, and there you go. You can see I did a lot of damage to Seraphine. At the same time, I was also able to proc my fleet footwork, so I get a little bit of healing, and Seraphine has to go back to use a honey fruit. Unfortunately, I did take a little bit of extra damage afterwards. You can see I'm always looking for opportunities to dash in. Yes, I don't have the extra damage from electrocute, but to be honest, I don't really feel like I need the extra damage from electrocute. As long as I have the fleet footwork passive, then it should be all good. Rammus comes to gank the lane. Unfortunately, doesn't get the taunt off, but does take the flash away. So it gives me more opportunity now to even try and exchange, even try and trade even better. Because now Seraphine always has to be careful at trying to step a little bit too far forward, which means that she might die from a Rammus gank. So you can see that's pretty much all that I'm doing at the moment. You can see that I'm going for a little bit of a roam up in the top side. It's a little bit earlier than what I expected. I expected Lee Sin to walk down because I saw Lee Sin on vision up in the top side, but instead he went up to the top lane. We tried to get a little bit of a play, but Darius did flash away as well, and unfortunately we're not able to get anything from the roam. A little bit of a bad roam for myself. I think when I realized that Lee Sin was going up to top lane, I should have gone back to the mid lane, because I did lose about a wave and a half, I think, from this. So I'm a little bit behind now in terms of experience, and also from gold, because I also do miss all these minions. But as you can see, when Seraphine comes back to lane, she's now going to have a little bit of an XP lead on me, because she was able to push the wave, as you can see. So she's going to hit level 5 before me. Now this is a bit of a scary part for Ekko. When Seraphine hits her ultimate, she can use her ultimate and combo and do a lot of damage, and I won't be able to use my ultimate to escape or to heal back up. It's a little bit of a problem now that I have. You can see that, yeah, you can see that a little bit of poke damage there, but I have second wind to heal me back up. I also have fleet footwork. I also have sweet tooth as well if I want to go back and get the honey fruit. But as you can see, I'm now a level behind, so I'm in a little bit of a struggle. So a little bit of a mistake in terms of roaming, which is kind of the thing in Wild Rift. You know, if you do roam, you need to make sure you make the roam worth it, whether you get a kill, whether you get an advantage in terms of your jungler. But if you don't get any advantages, then you're going to be in a little bup of trouble. So as you can see, I'm just going to clear the wave here, try and clear as much as possible in terms of minions. I'm dash forward here. As you can see, Seraphine stepped up a little bit too far. I was able to proc my fleet footwork, get a little bit of damage from my passive, and jump away. But I'm quite low on health. I'm very, very low on health, so I do need to be a little bit careful. I'm trying to maybe use my ultimate here. This is the only way that I can really win this fight now against Seraphine. If I use my ultimate when I dash forward to maybe do a little bit of damage and bait the Seraphine in. So I'm trying to do at the moment. I'm just going to clear the cannon, go back, and this is again where Sweet Tooth comes in. You can see that Seraphine is currently, you know, pushing the lane, kind of winning the lane in my opinion at the moment, because she's a ranged champion. Ekko is a melee champion. It's a little bit of a struggle. As you can see again, I'm dashing in with my... Oh, so close. I was dashing in with my first ability and my second ability. I tried to get a little bit of a catch there with my second ability, but I do this really, really well. I see that the roams are coming in from around the map, and I know that Seraphine's also going to roam up into top side. So what I do, I cut the Seraphine off, because I know that she tried to clear the wave under tower. I knew she was roaming up into jungle because she was going to try and collapse on the rest of my team. So instead of grouping up with the rest of my team, I'm like, okay, I can jump onto the Seraphine. I have Ignite available, so I cut her off so she's not able to escape. And then there you go. We get a nice and easy kill onto Seraphine. She used her flash a little bit too late. And as you can see, our first back, we get death cap, which is the main thing. Is, you know, once you get death cap on your first back, that's really going to be where you're going to start dealing a lot of damage. So again, not using electrocute to maybe get some early game trades that you could get. It's more to do with sustain, fleet footwork, second wind, and also sweet tooth. And now I have my death cap. Now I'm going to be able to deal a lot of damage. And I got death cap before the first dragon, which is also really, really important. So both the dragons and Rift Herald are now spawning. I think my main goal here is to try and push mid lane, because if I push mid lane, then I'm able to try and get a few picks, maybe roaming around the jungle. At the moment, I can't really roam because I'm going to lose too many minions in the mid lane again, like I did last time. So I'm going to push out the mid lane, and then I'm going to roam towards the dragon. I do get a little bit of caught here. I don't see the Darius until like the last second because I don't have a ward or anything. So I do get a little bit caught out, but I'm able to dash away. And then what I do is I use my ultimate back in. I get the second ability as well. Get a huge combo onto 3 members, and the rest of my team are able to follow up. This is the big thing again, as I mentioned in the guide beforehand, making sure you always keep your eye on your ultimate, because even though you're escaping away, you can still keep an eye on your ultimate. You're still able to do a lot of damage. As you can see, I got 3-man stun. I was able to kill the Darius, and it's really big. Unfortunately, the rest of my team, as you can see on the minimap, kind of overextend and go for a tower dive. I do push a mid lane tower here because I know that my team's not doing the dragon, and I'm not really too sure why my team went for a tower dive there. I mean, we got an advantage. We got the kill on Darius, so all we needed to do was, you know, potentially turn to dragon, but unfortunately my team didn't turn towards the dragon. Now what I'm going to try and do here is I'm going to try and stall the dragon as much as possible. I'm going to try and make sure that I deal as much poke damage as possible, stall the dragon, and then hopefully Rammus can come in. You can see there's a lot of low health bars. Champions are flashing in, everyone's flashing in. Camille does take the first tower of the game. Unfortunately, we do lose the dragon though. And as you can see, I'm going to try and get a little bit of a pick off here. I use my second ability to get another 3-man stun. You can see Camille is also there for the cleanup. Really nice TP actually from Camille. Everyone is super low on HP. She uses the ultimate. She gets a triple kill. I think she even gets a quadra kill, does she? No, she gets a triple kill. So in the end, not a bad trade. We lose dragon, but we get a few kills from it. Again, it didn't really need to happen because of the tower dive that the rest of the team did on bot side, but in the end a pretty good play. But like I said, the main thing that we was trying to do, we was just trying to stall the dragon as much as possible, so maybe Rammus can go in and steal it. We weren't able to, but we was able to stall enough time, so then the Camille was able to use the teleport. And also Camille got a lot of gold in the top side. I think Camille has a huge gold lead now, which is massive. A little bit of a gank here in mid lane from the Thresh. Unfortunately, not too much, but really nice ultimate by Kai'Sa gets that kill onto Seraphine. So really nice roam from my bot lane. They got bot lane tower as well, so we've got 2 towers to our name, and then the enemy team has the dragons. So we're just going to take the Rift Herald. Even though we already have 2 dragons, we're going to take the Rift Herald, and as you can see, it does get stolen away, unfortunately. So we do lose both objectives, but the main thing is that we got towers. You know, towers are still a big thing. You do still get a lot of gold from towers, so it's really nice. So unfortunately, nothing going for there. The bot lane does go in, so I do look to try and go for re-engage here. I look for my second ability. Ekko's completely caught out. Not sorry, Ekko. Jhin is completely caught out. A really nice play actually by Thresh. Actually pulls Jhin back into my W range. As you can see, we're just walking around the fight. We're getting the movement speed from our passive and also fleet footwork, and we are doing so much damage. Again, I use my third ability. I stun the Morgana again, and we get another kill. This is the great thing about Ekko. You have so much movement speed. You have so much movement speed to go around in a team fight, and it's so hard for anyone to deal with. And we're going to try and push in the mid lane here. I believe we do get this mid lane tower, and then we're going to go back to base. This is what I love about Ekko. You know, you have so much mobility. You have so many cool ways to dash in, to dash out. Yes, you are a little bit squishy with this build. You can go for like a Rod of Ages instead if you want to as your first item. It does mean that you have to wait for a little bit of scaling, but if you go for this build, Death Cap into Lichbane, 2 big powerful items straight away. You can then go for Infinity Orb straight afterwards, like I'm going to be going for this game. And then, yeah, the damage is absolutely nuts. I love it. I love playing Ekko. Ekko's a really cool champion. I do play him in the jungle sometimes as well if you need. I mean, he's one of the only AP junglers in the game right now. I think Ekko and Morgana are 2 of the strongest AP junglers, and 2 of really the only AP junglers in the game right now. As you can see, I see Lee Sin going back to base here, so what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and cut him off. Unfortunately, I'm not able to. So I'm looking to try and make roams. I push the mid wave, and as soon as I push mid wave, I can try and look for roams. Really nice ultimate here by Camille. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get an assist. but really, really nice. Seraphine overextended. There's not a tower behind us, so she can't escape. And, you know, that's a great thing. I always say about Camille. Camille is still such a strong champion, even though she's received so many nerfs. She has that lockdown with her ultimate. And now we're at a little bit of a stalemate, I guess you could say. There's no objectives up in a moment. We have every single dragon, every single tower, sorry. So as you can see, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to create pressure on the map. I'm trying to make sure that we can go into the enemy jungle, that the enemy champions are getting scared of walking forward. Because if they walk forward, then they could get caught. And this is another reason here. I use my second ability here. I try and dash in, and straight away, I get the Flash of Morgana. Now, unfortunately, I do get CC chained, and I do hard die here. So maybe a little bit of an overextension from myself. You can see I was trying to click the lantern button so quickly, I wasn't able to. So a little bit of an overextend from me. Really nice hook by Fresh there. Kai'Sa dashes in to get another kill, which is really, really nice. Yeah, like I said, for me, the main thing there was to try and like create pressure, but unfortunately the rest of my team weren't there to follow up. So, you know, I did have the Thresh Lantern. I didn't know I have the Thresh Lantern, so I was like, oh, I can easily escape with the Thresh Lantern. But unfortunately, I got chain CC'd and I basically died within an instant. I wasn't able to ulti or anything because I got rooted for so long. So yeah, a little bit of an overextension, and sometimes you might do that with Ekko, and sometimes you need to be a little bit careful with Ekko. And I'm just going to warn you, that's not the only time that I'm going to overextend in this game. There are other times that I do overextend in this game, and I do test my limits, I guess you could say a little bit. Rammus doing Rammus things. There's actually a lot of Rammus being played. I'm actually really surprised. A lot of Rammus being played, but yeah, 2 items completed now. I'm now going to go for the flank on this Lee Sin, which I think Lee Sin does overextend a little bit. Yeah, you can see Lee Sin is a little bit overextended. I believe he does use his kick. As you can see, I'm just going to use my third ability. My first ability is a combo. Flash over the wall. The only thing I could have done differently here, the only thing I could have done differently is not use my third ability at all and just use my first ability. So when Lee Sin dashes over the wall, I can just use my dash and I don't have to use my flash at all. You see, I'm trading a little bit here with Darius. As soon as Darius's first ability is about to hit me, which means he can ultimate me straight away, I use my ultimate and then I can heal back up. I can go back into the fight. And there we go. We get a nice, easy kill. So you see the timing there of my ultimate. I was able to dodge the Darius first ability. So really, really cool ways that you can use your ultimate and use your mobility to dodge around enemies' attacks, enemies' abilities, or anything like that. So we're going to go back. I believe I do pick up Zhonya's here. Yeah, I pick up Zhonya's because I know that I can get one-shot this game, and I do need to be a little bit more careful. So that is what I do. I pick up Zhonya's this game instead of Protobelt. Protobelt is good if you want even more mobility, but I think most of the time Ekko already has enough mobility. This is me just being really an ADC main. I don't know why I'm picking up red buff here. I don't know why I'm not letting Kai'Sa pick up red buff. I'm just casually picking up red buff for no apparent reason. I have no idea why. Yeah, I'm getting pinged by Camille, probably because Camille was also thinking the same thing. Why am I taking red buff instead of the Kai'Sa? That's just me being an AD carry main. You know, I'm so used to going to red buff and picking up red buff. You can see Ekko's wave clear here, by the way. Look at that. You get stacks of your passive all the time, and all it takes is like, you know, a few seconds, like 5 seconds, and the whole wave is cleared. So the Baron is up. We do take Baron very, very quickly. Camille is also in the bot side. So we can see that if there are multiple champions, which we do see in the bot side, Jhin and Morgana are both in the bot side of the map. So we're going to take this Baron, or try and take this Baron, I should say, because Camille is in a 2 versus 1 situation in bot lane. You can see I used the third ability to get over the wall to get the plant, and there we go. Baron is secured. There's 3 members of the enemy team down in bot lane, and we realized that, so we were like, okay, we're just going to take this free Baron. And we can use this Baron to push multiple lanes to try and create pressure again on the map. We can see Lee Sin there. Not going to do anything in the moment, but then I'm going to try and use my third ability to try and get over the wall. I do unfortunately miss everything. I still get a proc on my passive. You can see my damage on Lee Sin is absolutely disgusting. It really is disgusting. And you can see I'm kind of testing my limits again here a little bit. I use my ultimate to go back again. Maybe I didn't really need to. I think I did get ignited, so my heal wasn't too much. That's the one thing you have to keep an eye on for Ekko. Your ultimate obviously heals you. So if there's any anti-heal on the enemy team, that means the healing is going to get reduced. That is one thing to keep your eye on when you're playing Ekko. If you do have the little anti-heal sign above your head, your ultimate's not going to be able to heal you as much. That's one thing to keep your eye on. But look at me. 3 items now. 4, 2, and 9. 14 minutes in the game. We're currently 24 kills to 9. So now we're just looking for one-shot potential. Now we're looking to maybe try and go towards, you know, Jhin is our main target. A Seraphine as well is also another great target. But you can see at the moment, all I want to do is try and get this mid lane tower. I have Baron buff, we have a mid lane tower. You can even see my damage to Lee Sin here. Look at that damage. With one combo, one basic combo of my third ability and first ability, and Lee Sin is nearly dead. You can see Morgana is there. I'm going to kill Morgana. I'm also going to try and kill Seraphine here. I unfortunately misplayed a little bit, and yeah, as you can see, I think if I Zhonya's there instead of trying to use my ultimate, because I got rooted by Jhin, I was still able to use my Zhonya's. You can still use Zhonya's if you get rooted. If I use Zhonya's and then ultimate afterwards, I will probably be able to live there because my ultimate healing is so much. But I was still able to trade 2 to 1. I was able to push the mid lane whilst the rest of my team was in top lane. I was able to get 2 kills. So hashtag worth, I would say in the chat. Hashtag worth it. Nothing else to say there really. But yeah, we got multiple waves pushing in. Top wave is pushing in. Bot wave is also pushing in. I don't think there's any way that the enemies can come back from this point onwards. So objectives wise, Infernal Drake is coming up very soon, so we're probably going to look towards going towards that dragon because the enemy team did take the first dragon. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult. I think 2 dragons is still really strong. 1 dragon is kind of meh. 2 dragons is really strong, and 3 dragons is just crazy strong. It's crazy strong how many stats you get from 3 dragons. As you can see, again, I'm kind of limit testing a little bit, maybe a little bit too much to be honest with you. I think I'm at the point of the game where I know I'm really strong, and I know I can just walk forward and do a lot of damage, so I don't need to really worry about dying too much. But I think I do get caught a little bit here. If I remember this clip correctly, I do get caught again. Yep, I use my stasis, I try and use my ultimate to live, but then I get caught by the Seraphine ultimate and I die. Yeah. Really bad misplay from me. Again, just me overextending, kind of limit testing a little bit. Yeah, don't do that. Sometimes with Ekko, you might get a little bit too overconfident, and you might do plays like that. Don't do that. That's not a good thing to do. You can see Camille's really strong in this game. Really nice hook again by Thresh. Camille, I think, is able to kill the Lee Sin if I remember. Yep. And Camille can just clean up the rest of the fight as well. And then Kai'Sa jumps in, gets a few kills as well. Has to proc stasis though. It's a little bit scary, but able to flash away. You can see big boy Rammus coming in. Everyone's engaging back in. Killing spree for the Thresh. And he gets a few more kills as well. So even though I did int a little bit, the rest of my team were able to clean up, which is quite nice. So again, me overextended a little bit. I overextended a few times this game. I think the only one that it was worth it was in the mid lane when I took the inhibitor and I took 2 kills. Other than that, it's not really worth it. The play that I did in bot lane wasn't really worth it, and the play I did there in the bot lane as well wasn't really worth it. I'm gonna clear out this bot wave to make sure that the tower is not going to go over to the enemy team. As you can see, Ekko is very squishy. I lost like half my health just from trying to kill the minions there because I took so much minion damage. So you can see that sometimes it's a little bit difficult for Ekko because he is very squishy, which sometimes when you do go too aggressive, you will get caught out. But as you can see here, we're just going to take the second Baron of the game, go back to base. I can get my voice off now. I have 4 items. Big old juicy 4 items in the game. You love to see it. Nice juicy 4 items. Lost item, yeah, lost item's kind of weird. You can go for Morellonomicon. I do see people going Nash's Tooth as a last item because your attack speed can help you quite a lot to get a little bit more damage. Like, I think Morellonomicon is also completely fine because you do get a little bit more max health if you do need it. You can see that I'm just going to push in a bot wave here because I do have Baron buff. So I'm able to push in a bot wave. And then you can see Rammus is going to jump in. Look how much damage I do here. 1,200 crit damage with Infinity Orb. The damage is absolutely disgusting on what you can do with Ekko. Once you reach like past 15 minutes and through items, you do a lot of damage. You can see I'm going to try and kill the Lee Sin. I do the kill the Lee Sin, and look at that. I ulti and I come away with half the health, and that is going to be the game ending plays. Nice little triple kill to end the game here. As you can see, a little few tips as well, but that's the reason why I use Fleet Footwork. You know, in the later phase, it's going to be a little bit difficult. So with Fleet Footwork, I'm able to just play passive, heal up as well with Second Wind and also with Sweet Tooth. And when you get to the middle late game, once you get a few items, you can see the stats here. 34,000 damage with Ekko. A lot of damage in the end with Ekko. I think my score was pretty decent in the end as well. 9-4-4. 9-4-9, sorry. Top lane also did really well, and also our bot lane. So really, really good performance overall. And that's everything for the Ekko video. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe for more Wild Rift content, and I'll see you in the next A to Z guide. Take care. Peace.